on, man? What's going on? All my social media outlets, man. Sean Williams down here at WBTU and radio station, Champaign, Illinois. Got my man JB. He's our co-producer down here at WBTU and radio. On to the left, I got my man Wisdom. Been doing Wisdom for a long time. He brings a lot of wisdom to the table. And so, hey, man, appreciate you guys, Smoke, getting in with us, man. If you have any comments, make sure that you put them in the comment section. Make sure you put them in the comment section of our YouTube, our Spotify, whichever way you're streaming us, YouTube, whichever way you're streaming, make sure you put your comments in. We're going to have a good conversation. Wisdom's starting to have a podcast down at our radio station down here at WBTM Radio, Champaign, Urbana off Madison Street. If you want to have your podcast, do what he's doing. Get up with us, man. You can come down here to 313 North Madison Street, holler at me or JB, and you can start your podcast. We got all the equipment in here. So Wisdom's about to start his podcast coming up soon. Wisdom, tell us a little bit about your podcast and what's the name of your podcast. But before you do that, JB, you jump in, man. Holler at the people, man. Let them know what you got going on, who you are.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about the community and what's going on. That's my main concern right now is the youth and how we can help. We see there's a big problem. We want to know what the big solution can be. And so we want to talk to Wisdom a little bit about some of his ideas of what can maybe fix some of these problems that he sees in the community. What do you think, Wisdom?
Man, I think, first off, I want to say thank you for having me here, Sean, Brother JB. I think that the crux of our problem, man, is our thinking patterns, the way we have been programmed to think of ourselves. When we begin to believe that our main goal is to impress others, the people-pleasing mentality is what I call it. If you look around yourself, it's really easy to spot those people whom we call people-pleasers. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones who you see riding around on the biggest rims they can find, nicest, put $13,000 worth of paint, rims, and equipment on a 1982 Monte Carlo that has 267,000 miles on it. You understand what I'm saying here? That's the only rationale for that is to be trying to please people. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look what I have. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things. Don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is this, is that when you go out and purchase Jimmy Choo's, Louis V, and all of this stuff here, and you 2 months behind on your cable bill, they sending you information about turning your phone off, and your landlord is cussing you out about the rent being late. Right. That's people pleasing, man. You are setting your trained thinking. This is how economists get over. This is how these businesses get over on our Black people.
Where do you think that thought process came from?
This was embedded years and years ago. I believe it came through slavery. And what makes me identify that as a slavery trait is the fact that when our ancestors were enslaved, they were treated like animals, number one. But number two, can you imagine every day of your life getting up, not knowing whether you was going to live or die, getting up, not knowing whether you was going to be beat with a bullwhip, or getting up, if you were a male and you were outspoken, might say the wrong thing, you would be quartered by 4 horses. These are the barbaric things that slavery was doing to our people, our ancestors. And they did this for hundreds and hundreds of years. And a person today who is unaware would be quick to say, man, that don't have nothing to do with what's going on today.
Yeah. And the other side of the coin, people are saying that.
Exactly. But I beg to differ. And if you lend me an ear, I believe that some of the things that I say can and will help you to understand why you can associate a slave's mentality with your current conditions and actions of today. If you stop and think about it, look at our young Black brothers out here right now. Those are the ones who really need to be communicated with as far as their psychological makeup.
How do you reach them?
I think the best way to reach them is what I'm doing now, opening up an avenue and giving them an opportunity to diatribe with me, giving them the experience of my life and my history. See, I come from a very sordid past, brother. You know, very sordid past. So it's very few things that you can approach me with and communicate to me that I don't think I would be able to communicate back or be able to feel you, so to speak, you know, whenever you speak. I'm a man of several years older than a lot of these young people that believe. And the reason I think they believe this is because I too fell victim to this, believing that older people don't know nothing. When I was coming up, man, I was 15, 16, I actually was believing, erroneously so I might add, that I knew more than my parents knew, that they were old, so they are out of touch with reality, not the reality, but the reality of the streets. I told my father, man, things have changed since you was out there. You see what I mean?
I think I said that too.
Every young man coming up does that. Because we're looking for answers. We're trying to find out whether we are men or not. And instead of us going to the men, we're being taught that we should not communicate with our older siblings, with our older people who are seniors in the neighborhood and around the community. This is by design. See, when I was much younger, I didn't understand this. It's being bred in my mind by the system. This is how you're supposed to act. Not like this little Caucasian over here who goes to school, gets good grades, who listens and abides by parent counsel, who has been there prior to him and knows how to get around certain things. See, I'm taught to think that they don't know anything. See, I'm taught to believe that my parents don't know nothing, so why would I go to them? I'm gonna go to my guy down here, my 17-year-old buddy. I'm 16, he's 17, he might know. You understand me? Because he's in the street, so he know. But until your parents sit you down and hold themselves accountable for their errors, you will continue to be a person who is incapable of being genuine and true.
Sean, I want to ask you something. You said, I heard you say something about it's an excuse. I want you to elaborate a little bit on the meaning of your word excuse for this topic.
Well, a lot of times when I'm having this type of conversation, this dialogue, right, we come up with so many different excuses of why how we got in this position, how we got in this condition, how our minds are thinking the way they think, right? And I think it is a lot of systematic things that have been put in place and a lot of history that we have to deal with, the trauma that we got to deal with. But at the same time, I think that it's excuses for us to continue to do the same old thing and watching our communities crumble in our face and not do something about it, or watching our personal lives fall apart, relationship after relationship, time after time, to be able to come up and say, hey man, look, first of all, recognize that I got a problem. Because there's a lot of times we think we winning and we really lose. And so when Wisdom just said consumerism, he talked about consumerism. And so I went, I'm a researcher, I'm going straight to the research. So we're as African Americans, we're about 400. I could pull a statistic that would say 47.8 million strong in the United States, and we're spending our spending power is about 300 billion in opportunity states in our communities. And so, and then it gives a little bit more breakdown of kind of where we're at as far as our spending power. And when he talked about the shoes and all these other different things that we're more focused on, you know, rims and the cars and things of that, because we come from less than, and when we do get an opportunity to purchase these things, it's a temporary feel good. I mean, I've done it, you've done it, Wisdom's done it, everybody's done it, you know. But at some point, we should realize that life is more than that, and that we should strive for more than just a temporary fix. What about the long-term solutions? And I really don't go off that you know, we was enslaved to 400 years of oppression and all of those things. Even though that happened, you know, right now we're in a technology savvy world and everybody got the same 24 hours. Me realizing that I need some personal change, I got a person use my 24 hours to do something different.
So even even though you say that it's not an excuse, I kind of lean towards Wisdom's thought process is, how do you change them? How do you teach them different? You saying that that's not an excuse, but somebody has to teach them the way that their ancestors was taught is wrong. So who teaches them the difference?
Well, who teaches them the difference? I mean, so we've lost that village. So coming up with this excuse or this thing to say, hey man, where's the people that help? Because first of all, we stopped our own village because we didn't want Miss Smith down the road to start checking my kids. We stopped that. Good point. So now folks saying, hey, look, I'm bagging up because if I stay out my business.
We're not going down to Johnny Ray's store because we don't like to support Johnny Ray. We'll go to
Johnny Ray ain't even got a store in our community no more.
Right.
Pakistani Tom, and his name ain't even Tom,
right?
Because he just changed his name to be Americanized so that we shop. Okay. So we don't even shop with folks in our community. So it's hard for our young people to be able to see success when they don't see success by black folks.
So again, to answer my question, who teaches them the difference?
Okay, who teaches them? First of all, let's go back here. Who teaches them the difference?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we've done. We've allowed ourselves to put it back on the system. So let's go with the educational system. Okay. We'll say, hey, look, I'm sending my kid to go to school for you to teach them. And then they got a curriculum that don't represent us and don't represent our history. Right now across America, you hear this thing called critical race theory. Okay. Most of us don't even know what the hell that means. Most of the parents don't know. We so busy with the hustle and bustle and all of this distractions that we don't find out what critical race theory even is about. So what critical race theory is teaching us our history, the plain truth, without without the blanks in the spaces or taking away from our history or telling us more than about Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth or some other folks. So that's what critical race theory is. The stuff that you said, where really telling the truth that these folks raped our great grandmothers. These folks took our land. These folks did. So that should be taught within the school system.
So I think that they don't teach that because they don't want to breed hate with the kids, thinking that, okay, I'll teach these kids that their ancestors and brothers and sisters were raped and beaten. I don't see how they're going to be happy with me.
But I'm gonna go right back biblical on you. Only the truth sets you free. So you got to be true, even though they might not agree with it. The other races might not agree with that past history of their ancestors. They still got to be truthful with it, so that we can move forward in truth. And so even if they don't agree with it, because majority of them, I know a lot of white people, they don't agree with what happened way back in the day. And they're not one of the ones that want to, hang a black person to this day, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. I mean, with a noose, so to speak. But at the same time, you got to acknowledge it and then lay the cards where it's at and teach people about love.
My question, when you brought up critical race theory and the opposition of it, I wanted to question you as to who was in opposition.
Who's in opposition of it? Okay, first of all,
Who doesn't want it to be spread?
well, I mean, first of all, I would say who doesn't want to be spread is because who's ever in charge of putting out the books. So our history books. Who does our school go to? The Department of Education. So the people from the Department of Education that write the curriculums. Right now, we're dealing with something called No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind. I think that was put in place. I don't know if the Obama administration put that together, or the Bush, it might have been the Bush administration put that together. No Child Left Behind, meaning that if you feel as though you're 11, you find out your 11th grade student or son or daughter is falling behind. Well, under that act, we can't leave that child behind. We got to automatically, if he got attendance and stuff like that, then we pass him on to the next grade. Well, really, if we're doing the community a disservice because we have identified in the school district that this dude can't read. And I put it right back on parents because of the fact that you should know your 11th grader can't read because your 11th grader should have been read something to you. So we're ignoring the fact at home. And even if the system's broken, right? To me, even if the system's broken, then a community should have mechanism in place where that I can send my kids, even if I'm not educated, I can send them to alternative spaces throughout the Black community that can help me educate my young person.
You know, you sound really imaginative. And what you're saying, I'm looking at things from a realistic standpoint, my brother. Because what you're saying is that it should be a group in the community that teach. I agree with you that. But what I think what I think you're not acknowledging is the fact that our community was dismantled by design. This didn't happen by no accident that all of a sudden everybody got our community but us. That's no accident. That was done by design. Our stores missing. Our business is missing. Our professionals missing. That's by design. Old Roman rule, divide and conquer. Soon as a person in our community gets the opportunity to get the hell out, what happens, man? And you cannot argue it. It's a justifiable idea. Less economic opportunities, higher crime rates, more drug, more violence.
And you want me to stay there and fix that?
But the thing that I have to share with you is the fact that when I came up, and I'm the first generation of desegregation, and the first opportunity that so-called well-to-do Black people had to leave those neighborhoods, man, that's what they did. See, desegregation destroyed the Black community, man, whether people wish to accept that as a reality or not. But in order for the average Black person to get a decent education,
explain how.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying, and you will probably get the idea. At this time, when desegregation came about, our whole community was owned by us. Everything. Absolutely, positively, everything. You see what I'm saying? So when desegregation came in, we lost our Black bus routes. We lost our Black cab drivers. We lost our Black school teachers. lost our black doctors, everything. And the only people that was left in those communities were functioning illiterates. And because of that fact, in the 60s, they built what's called Cabrini Greens. You know what they called it? The projects. Because that's exactly what it is, or was, until they tore them down. Put all these functioning illiterates off in here and give them enough money to sustain themselves, and let's study them and see exactly what they do. And they did exactly what any group of starving people would do. They took those drugs and they sold them to each other in order to try to get something in order to survive with. So to turn around and put all of these negative connotations on my brothers and my sisters of the past, you better realize people do what they have to do to survive. That's the bottom line. First law of man, survival. So to sit here and cast aspersions on an 11-year-old child selling crack rock to a crackhead, hey, boy, you out here doing so and so and so and so. He got 2 little sisters at home, man, and his daddy is in jail, and his mama is on drugs as well. You make the call, man. Survival. See, here in this town, there's nothing like Chicago, man. Go up on the south side, over there on the west side, where them people have sucked up all the money out of them neighborhoods, man, and left your brothers and sisters to fend for themselves. And then figure out why you hear so many drive-bys. Then figure out why you hear it's drug-ridden, crime-ridden. What other choice are you affording them? I answer, there is a solution, my brothers. The solution is a one mind, one mission. That's it. One mind, one mission. Our main goal is to pull ourselves together as a unified front. If we don't, there is no way for us to survive. For after all of this time, if we do not realize that we are all we got, we are all we got. And if we acknowledge that and recognize it, man, instead of being so petty and having an argument or a shootout about some female, or having an argument and a shootout about somebody saying something that you don't like or don't agree with, bring it to the round table, man. See, we need to get back to our village mentality. We've lost that. Nobody else has. You got Jewtown in Chicago. You got Chinatown in New York. These are famous places, man. Because these people have consolidated their efforts to make a grandstand for their own race. That's it. And until we get out of this crab mentality, until we stop being so selfish and self-centered and self-seeking, until we stop allowing ourselves to be so duped so damn easily, man. I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm just grateful, man, that I have enough sense to know that I was duped so that I can tell somebody else, don't walk that path, man. I can guarantee you, you will not be the same person that you wish to be. My parents tried to save me. I was raised in a 2-parent household. My parents tried to save me.
From what?
The streets, man.
Chicago.
The streets. No, I'm from Champaign. These streets will open up and swallow your ass whole. Not sometime, not even most of the time. All of the time. Somewhere along the line, you will receive some trauma. even if it does not touch you directly. But can you imagine how it would feel if somebody came in here with a 9mm and emptied it on Sean while me and you was talking? Can you imagine the mental, emotional, and psychological trauma that you would suffer? And people say, get over it. It wasn't that hard for y'all. Man, listen, we are all we got. And unless we figure out that and respect it, I'm talking to my young brothers out there. I need y'all to understand that, man, y'all clicking up. What if y'all came with one mind and you had one mission? That's what you would find. Peace. It's a unified front that succeeds, bro.
You know, Wisdom, retracking back, because I listened to your narrative, explosive narrative that you just gave. Let's go back to what we talked about, resources through our community, the village, right? And when I talked about, we got things in place. So I've been to meetings after meetings. I've listened to today's news articles throughout Champaign, Urbana, because I'm talking about Champaign, Urbana. I can't say what's going on in Chicago. I know some things that's going on there. I'm talking about here. We got a lot of resources, a lot of money out there right now about gun violence, victory over violence, all of these different things we see. So, and I've been a part of some of those intricate meetings, right? And then they're putting this in place and that in place and this in place, right? But I was in a meeting one time, and one of the ladies that deal with trauma, she talked about having an organization or having a facility, and if it doesn't strict the minds of the people that mostly need it, then your organization means nothing.
Pretty much true.
Okay, so if your building is there and it's been there for 40 years, but the younger population or the most at-risk population don't feel your building or whatever you on the corner of, it means nothing to the community.
Exactly.
So now you got to figure out, okay, how can I be appealing to the most at-risk population, the African-American community, if I want to do something about it? But the problem is this. When I said there's a lot of money out there, too many people get paid for the dysfunction of the Black community, including Black people.
I agree.
A lot of our most educated people, they don't go get the education to come back and teach the uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
They get the education and now capitalize on the uneducated. And so now we got to have a changing of our hearts and our minds and say, I care about you like I care about me. So now that we got the resources. My family had the resource for me to go to college. Maybe your family didn't. Let me bring the college knowledge back to one of those spaces that's now dead. So this church might not be doing that well. So let me bring my resources there and let me house my after school program right there, so I can now teach the young folks that families, mom might have to work 2 jobs, but she know her son or her daughter gonna get a safe environment, getting educated, and can get dropped off because the van been sitting there all week and ain't nobody turned it on. But I got a retired brother that's a good guy that can be now the van driver to drop all the young folks back off. You see what I'm saying? Those places got to resurrect.
I agree.
Got to resurrect and be a viable entity. Other than that, we keep riding around vacant spots or unused spots. I always say, what do you do with your mic? You know, I mean, so when I'm on the radio or I'm doing a television program or something like that, I want to make sure that I'm reaching folks with a Bible message with the mic. But if you just keep on talking to me about, and I'll go right here, I'm a park right here. If you just keep talking to me about dying, and I'm young, I'm not listening to that message. I want to talk about living, and that's biblical. I mean, because Christ give you life, he give it to you more abundantly. He ain't telling you more about dying, he tell you more about kingdom building and bringing each other up and connecting. So my thing for it is this, man, we got to find out what we're trying to achieve. You know, do we want to keep on seeing the community crumble? And, you know, and capitalize on it. And then another thing I'll say, as an African-American race, we're being targeted so hard. with the music that we listen to, all of those things. I let you guys listen to a little video the other day, showed you something. You know, these record industries know what they're doing to our young people.
They've been doing
They're
it all the time.
capitalizing, they're making a whole lot of money. And then I would say this, I even go to far to say that we do a financial literacy class probably 3-4 times a week for free, literally for free. But we so distracted, we don't see that being important. And most of the time when we doing something like that, or we see something like S&P 500 or something like that, that's not for us.
They don't even know what it means.
We don't know what it means. We ain't trying to find out what it means. We say that's white folk stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with me. When it got everything to do with you. You wonder why the gas prices are messed up. You wonder why the same shirt you bought last summer costs twice as much this summer. We ain't trying to find that out. We hear about inflation, recession, and we're not trying to find out what that definition even means, how that affect me and my family.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
When you was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, was you looking for Stanley, Stevens, and Porsche?
But
That's
now,
great.
no,
you wouldn't.
no, 16, 17 years old, but I'm not responsible for myself really at 16, 17 years old. My older siblings are, the people in my community are. I was going to church at the moment. Those folks should be pulling me up and saying, look, man, just like they was doing. The road you going down ain't gonna work out.
Right.
Somebody should be saying that. Look, man, we got this program over here, like what we had. Y'all had it too. It was called the OIC building. You had that. You remember that downtown?
I remember all of that.
Office, you're right. So where is that now?
Man, you're making my point.
Okay, where is that now?
I just told you they dismantled our neighborhoods.
So I got that. They just
And those programs,
But you said
I used to be able to go to over here on the National Guard building. Right. I used to go there with my father when I was a youngster, and we would see the boxing matches.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
One by the boys club.
Right. There were things, I used to be able to go to the boys club, stuff like that. It was free. Now it costs money. Thing that I'm trying to figure out, as I said, at one time it was free. What happened to that government money that prevented the Boys and Girls Club from being free? Because when it was free, you could go there, communicate with people who are older and wiser that can give you a solution to your petty ass childish problems. Today, that's not available to some people because it costs money now.
so. But at the same time, you started this conversation off saying we got more interest in old ass car, Supreme.
I didn't say we.
You said
Okay.
you said some folks in the
I
like
said
this.
you
Okay.
can tell
Okay, but check this
the
out.
folks who are people pleasers because this is what they do.
But we're $800 billion people per year. We pay for what we want to pay for. Let's keep it 100. We pay for what we want to pay for. And we found that to be a valuable spot, and they was giving valuable information for my young person, or I put enough interest in my young person. Hey man, look, this $15 right here this month. It's going on this. It's going on this. You going to this Boys and Girls Club because I know this program is whatever it is. And it's valuable for you to
You
get
think
in.
it's $15 a month?
Or $20 or $100. It don't make no difference.
I know, because Sean got the money like that.
Why can't it be free though? That's the question. Why can't it be free? Because
I'm not saying it should
well,
be.
that's the question.
I'm not saying
Right.
I'm not saying
What happened to
I'm not
that?
saying it should be, but at the same time, a lot of this non-for-profit stuff going on sometimes that it might not be money allocated for now. And that's a whole lot of money out there
And
right
that's
now.
what he said. It
That's
wasn't
a whole
money
lot of money.
allocated for that,
That's a
but
lot of
it
money
was
out there
here.
right now.
That's exactly what he's saying. I'm listening on both sides. He's
And
saying that there was money there before.
yeah, it was
And
money.
now it's gone.
It was money there before, and then some of the money dried up. Okay, but
All of it
but
drives,
let me tell you
because now we have to pay an astronomical
Exactly.
fee in order to get in order to get them in.
okay, so let me go here. Viewers and viewers of Sean, take the shades off. Take the shades off.
Right, with the gloves off.
We did take the
With the
gloves
gloves
off. Okay, this is the problem. I'm gonna go to the same. I'm gonna go to the problem. We're gonna go with it. We've been on 35 minutes, so this next little 30 minutes gonna be hell deal with.
Man, however you feel like you want to do it, all I can tell you is the truth.
Okay, so you keep on going to the same system that broke us, and you asking them, man, fix it. Now they had a reason for breaking us from the beginning.
Okay.
And now you're gonna go back to them and say, fix it. Why do you think they broke us from the beginning?
Actually, that's not.
Listen to me.
Okay, I heard your question.
The same people. You asked it. How do you keep on going back to the?
Was that rhetorical or was that a genuine question?
Genuine
Because
question.
if it's a genuine question, then allow me to answer the
Okay.
genuine
Okay,
question.
hold on. Let me finish with it. Okay. So you're gonna go back to the same people that's oppressing. And you go that started the oppression. And now say, man, you know what, man, get your foot off. But they get paid for putting their foot on you. So now you're gonna go back to that. When now we don't put the responsibility back on ourselves, because we should identify that this been happening. And we ain't getting no good results out of it. So now that should bring us together. When we say, look, we start making our own demands. I'm not listening to that garbage. I'm not shopping at that store. I'm going to Wisdom store. I'm gonna build wisdom up. We still do the same old craziness. We gonna go to we like their stuff because they ice colder than his ice.
Why do you think that is?
That's because we don't see value in you. I don't see value in him. I don't want to be at WBTUM.
So let
I
me
want
ask
to go
you
to
this.
WDWS.
But let me ask you this though, Sean. If you don't see value in me, how be it that you can see value in yourself?
That's because I really don't.
So if we both agree on that,
That's because I really don't.
right? So if we both agree on that premise, that I don't really care about me because I don't give a damn about you. You understand what I'm saying? So if we're functioning on that premise, wouldn't it be a hell of a lot easier for me to just go elsewhere where people don't look like me and buy my clothes and buy my food and give them the kudos? Because I don't really like me.
And,
So I don't really like you.
and then those people fake like they like
Exactly.
me. Now, they put on a facade for me.
Right.
That if my own people would do that, I probably would stay there.
Right.
No, I'm gonna tell you this is the truth.
We still would do.
This is the truth. He said the truth. Because our people have been trained like that.
Right.
Our people have been trained to see us as liars, cheats, thieves, murderers, drug dealers, criminals.
Those are images.
How can I look at you with any respect when everything that you're supposed to embody is supposed to be illegal? It's supposed to be nefarious. It's supposed to be something that I'm shunning. How be it that I can love you? How be it that I can respect you? How be it that I can acknowledge you as a man, as someone who deserves to have a crown on like a king?
Only person that should come up in our communities is an athlete, a rapper, somebody that hit the lottery. It shouldn't be somebody that really puts in some hard work and was able to be successful. We don't look at it like that. It got to be some type of scam. It got to be some type of crookedness that happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's our thought process. We don't, when we look at our community and stuff like that, man, like dang, we don't see, point out some, you ain't gonna call no names, but point out something that you see successful. Who you see successful? How many people you see out here? How many business owners do you see besides a barber shop, beauty shop, 1 or 2 restaurants, funeral home? What other tangible, physical businesses that you see besides when you walk in this door?
Let me explain something to you. It's just, first thing I want to know is if you agree with the concept that thought is the cause of it all.
So the man thinking, so is he, right?
So if we agree
Preconceived ideas.
If we agree that thought is the cause of it all, then you have to look at the thought pattern that is being fed. You listen to these rap songs you watch, as I said, these movies, and all of these things are impressionable on a young mind.
Yeah.
You don't see any of that when you watch a Caucasian movie. You don't see any of that. If you see violence in a Caucasian movie, it's because one of them is a superhero and he's killing all the bad guys. In our movies, you see drug dealers, you see whores, you see all kind of criminal activity. This is what our children are being exposed
Hey,
to.
but at the same time, look at one of the major producers of some of the movies that's out there right now, BET and some of these other networks, is Tyler Perry. So that's
Tyler Perry makes no movies about that type of stuff, man.
No violence movies.
Let's see some of the movies that he do put out planting the seeds. I was a psychological warfare unit in the military, so I know I can see exactly what's being put out.
Okay, so in your opinion,
I give you a prime
what
example.
do you see in a Tyler Perry movie?
I give you a prime example. So I watched a show called The Shot.
No,
Have
we're
you watched
talking
the show?
about
No,
Tyler
Tyler
Perry
Perry.
movie. You the one
Very
put that out there.
Okay. So let's go with one. I think Tyler Perry produces. He produces. Don't he produce? What's that show?
Happy Valley.
He don't produce that.
No.
Oh, you thought that one? Oh, stop it.
I mean, but it's certain movies.
I
that's
could
out
not
there.
see
No,
it.
that's
Tyler
certain
Perry.
things.
Right.
Tyler Perry.
It's certain movies out there.
The
that have
only
certain
thing I
messages.
can see Tyler Perry doing is cross-dressing.
Yeah.
You know, you got a character dressed up from a man to a woman that's you seemingly making this okay. Okay, guys, if you want to make it, hey, you can dress up as a woman too.
I don't.
And
I
so,
don't think people see that
so
like that.
What do you think they see?
I think what they see is a person that's playing a character in a movie.
Well, that's the same thing with the drug dealer.
No, because listen, no, listen.
Same way with the man.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but you're speaking
the
about
seeds being planted.
right.
The seeds being planted.
Well, let me finish my thought. What I'm saying is that when you look at the Tyler Perry scenario that you just painted, when you see my dad, you don't see Tyler at all.
How come you
When
don't?
you're a little kid, you don't see him. You see my dad. That's the only person you see.
The little kid ain't the one that's influenced. It's the teenagers, the intermediate teenagers that's influenced. Yeah.
So wait.
A 2, 3, 4
Wait.
Hold on. You try to tell me that a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old kid, my dear, no, they
I want to get your thoughts on this.
It's like Dr. Seuss did influence me at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once I got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, now I'm very influential.
Let me ask you
And I
this.
see a man that's dressed up as a woman and everybody's celebrating.
So let me ask you this. Your idea on that. You are saying, if I'm correct, that Tyler Perry cross-dressing is what you call it.
It's what it is,
Okay,
right?
okay, yes,
Yes
sir,
or no?
yes, sir.
Okay.
You saying Tyler Perry cross-dressing might influence a child into cross-dressing?
Not a child. You said
Okay,
a child.
a young adult.
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying that he cross-dressing in his movies will encourage someone to cross-dress who probably wouldn't cross-dress?
Just like it would influence that same one to watch a drug dealing murder movie that you said that's perverting our kids right now. That's the same influence if the child decides to feed into it.
Yes, if they decide to
If they
feed into
decide
it.
to feed
So
into
listen, if they
So
decide,
the image is there.
this is just
The
my,
decision
wait a
is
minute.
there.
This is just, that's what I was getting ready to say, in the event that they feed into it. See, this one thing that I know, we gravitate to that of what we secretly love most.
Okay.
So if that be true and that child is influenced, or that young man is influenced to cross-dress, it's only because it's been up there from the very beginning. That child had ideas concerning that. I don't believe that, and this is the same thing with the rap music. Every child or every young man that listens to Shiesty and
Dirk and-
does not, every young man that listens to them does not believe that it's his responsibility to get a weapon and to go out or sell drugs or to, you understand
That's
me?
my point.
Every,
So the music and
that's
hip hop.
your point. I
So,
said every young man.
right.
I didn't say any young man.
So that's my point.
What is-
The music, you saying the music, what they listen to is the problem. Is that what you just said? I just heard you say that.
I said, you
This
have,
music that
can
they
I
listen
say
to-
what I said though?
Okay.
Can I say what I said?
I'm gonna tell you
That
what I heard
okay?
you say.
Okay, but I can tell you what I said though.
Well, you tell me what you
Okay.
said, but I can tell you what I heard you say.
Okay, anyway, what I said to you is that music, the media is having an influence on our younger generation. It's leading some of them to believe that this type of lifestyle is who they are supposed to be.
Okay.
And that is just the long and the short of it. That is exactly what the situation is. I did not say every child is influenced by that stuff. I am saying to you that if we had 100 marbles, right? And we put a box here with 100 holes in it, and then we just dump them marbles down and see how many of them fall in the hole, how many of them you think won't go in? Maybe 3, 5, something like that. You know, sit on the corner. That's him, that's you, and that's other people like you. But what about that other 97 or 98 that fell off in them holes, man? That's who we're speaking about. Those who are that impressionable.
And I think we're saying the same thing. You know, I'm right on the path with you because of the fact that when I talked about them other programs, psychologically, they already know psychologically how to put their messages out right for us. We call it in the community, we call it messaging. We always got to give some type of messaging, some type of a description or some type of your statement. You know what your program is all about and what your meaningful statement is.
Mission statement.
Your mission statement.
Mission
There you go. You always got to give that. So let us know right with a short brief what this is.
What it is you're trying to impart.
What this entail. So we got to give a short brief into that. So they know that. So what they do. So I'll give you a breakdown. So say we come up with a film writer that writes a film, and he want to write a film. He just want to talk about his community, and he want to talk about positive things in this community. Okay, and it's a great film. Okay, so now he got to go to investors.
That's right.
He got to go to investors. He say, hey, look, this is my film. You guys check it out. Hey man, I want you guys to invest into my film. They say, well, you know what? We need that edited a little bit. You know, I need
A little raw.
it got a little bit of a little bit more action in it. I need some more shooting in there, a little bit more violence. We need to actually put our message in because I need this character right here. He got to be like Tyler. He got to, put that dress on. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you a prime example of one of the shows, The Shot. Great show. I was looking at this great show. And the most violent guy, killer, busting them doors, kick them doors in. Come to find out his girl was
Homosexual.
really was to be a man.
Right, he's gay.
Okay, so then that character fell off. She never came back from St. Louis. So that character fell off. They add another character. His next chick he ran into was the same way. How does that happen? Even if it accidentally happened that time, intentionally in the movie, they made that happen again. So they let you know that even if you this type of hardcore dude, this is a cool way to be. Now, I'm not against none of that, but I am against it when you force feeding it down the throats of people. When you intentionally feed this to people, I'm against that. Because people can do what they want to do, but don't make my kids have to eat it. Don't make my people have to eat it.
Well, I'm confused. And the reason I say I'm confused is because I select what I want to watch. That's my choice. And if I am a responsible parent, and I want to speak on parenthood for a moment if possible. But if I'm a responsible parent, then I will monitor what you watch. You will not be able to watch P-Valley.
How many parents you been doing that?
That goes back to what I was
Let's
just
go to
getting
Marvel.
ready to
Let's
say.
go back to the Marvels.
Okay.
Now let's go. Now let's
Wait,
get right there.
well, let me finish with this parent thing because you just addressed it.
Right.
The average age of a Black female when she has her first child is inside of 17 years old.
I pulled it up for you the other day.
16, I know. But what I'm explaining to you is this. Exactly what did you know at 16, Sean? Not shit. Just like me, just like him, and just like them. They don't know any better. So when you see her cussing the little child out, I told your little son, she doesn't know any better. And if somebody is not teaching her any better, when that child grows up, guess what he's going to do with his child? And it will be a perpetual and consistent thing. Divide and conquer, first rule of the Romans playbook.
So who's supposed to stop us from that? Who's supposed to stop that? Who's supposed to stop this? Who's supposed to stop that?
That's our responsibility, Sean.
Okay.
That's our responsibility.
Okay.
But the thing that we need to do is take responsibility for what we are responsible for. You're telling people to take responsibility for what they are not responsible for.
But you can be responsible.
I said what they are not responsible.
Okay, but what you should be responsible. In this day and age, we're in a tech savvy world. We're in a tech savvy world where that you can shoot them on the email. They get enough emails from Interscope Records and say, look, man, I'm not buying none of your stuff. And then whoever they shopping with, whoever they advertisers are with, where they getting their money from, and you start putting that monetary pressure on them, then they start saying, you know what, man, we're gonna start pushing this narrative because Nike then withdrew their advertisement, Levi's then withdrew their advertisement, and all of those things. You start hitting them where it counts because the messaging that they putting out, man. Do you know 250 rappers get killed every year because of the battle to be able to get in charge and get on top so that you can get that contract? Because you got to be violent. You got to cause chaos in your community. You got to have an op. You got to carry a gun. You got to act like you got money.
And at this point, is somebody feeding them that image to make them do that?
Yeah, because it's the big way
telling them that, like you said,
they get
it's got to be this, it's got to be that in order for me to buy it.
It's the same way with the NFL football teams. How can you give out all that money?
But to his
they
point,
getting out money. How much you think he get?
But to his point, Eminem ain't made no records like that.
I'm with that too. And I think that we should put the pressure on those folks and say, hey, look, we need to go back. Why come I can't bring a guy in my community that's singing about love and happiness and he get the 50.
Here's the thing that I don't intend to be disrespectful, but I believe you're wishful thinking right now. I think you're getting way ahead of yourself. I think what we need to be focusing on, man, is getting a communication with our young brothers out there. I think our main objective should be is to listen to them, is to find out what it is that they're going through mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and then see if we can answer that question.
And I totally
solutions.
I totally 100% agree.
That's where it has to start.
Wisdom, for years, I've been sounding this alarm. For years.
I can believe you.
I've been sounding this alarm. Ever since I looked out my barbershop window and seen the hurt and the pain, I've been sounding this silent alarm that's been going on in our community. And something's wrong. When I seen that young lady that had aspirations to go off to college, and she telling me about it, bringing her brothers to the barbershop. And then 2 years later, I see her with a baby carriage. A year later, I see her with another baby.
You see what I mean?
And she's totally thrown off, right? And then her brothers fall into the system and those things. So I've been sounding this alarm off, but it seems like it's been on deaf ear because we all out here trying to get it for ourselves, right? And so I've been involved with a whole lot of community programs and trying to start my own stuff. And we did Brothers Let's Talk at the barbershop with both people now, and we hearing from the people, and we hearing from the young guys, you know, and because money was involved, folks want to bring funding and all this, we really didn't need their money. And that's really what I want to tell us before we end to the day. We don't really need an out. God give us everything we need, bro.
Sure.
And that's each other. And so if we take what we got and we add it all together, and if we came together with all our resources, we give like I told you, man, financially, we give a class up here every day, almost every day. But who pauses? JB will tell you, you've been with us for a long time. Who pauses and say, you know what, man, I'm gonna go see what these guys talking about. What they talking about? You know, we see what folks GoFundMe is to go to, knowing that a lot of our young folks is at risk. But who says, hey man, look, you know, I need some life insurance. Because I already know this boy out here, dirtball bad, he's smoking his weed, he won't come in the house, he coming through my window.
Got a 200 clip on him.
You know what I'm saying? And we still won't get prepared for that.
Well,
so then we'll be reactive. We'll say, okay, well, damn, it happened now. All right, what do I do? And so now we look for somebody else to even fill that gap.
You was asking why it is why we would take financial resources when you just said a few moments ago that there are plenty of resources that are available.
It is.
Okay, the reason that I would, without hesitation, take financial resources, Sean, is because these people owe me. They owe every Black person in this country. So I don't have no inhibitions about saying, if you got that for me and it's going to aid and assist me in bringing my people out of the darkness into the light, bring every damn dime on, and I want some more after that.
I mean, I'm with that. I'm with that. If there's money out there that can help us with our cause, you know, I mean, by all means, you know what I'm saying? But what I want us to do is be conscious of our own and what we got.
I'm in agreement with that.
And be able to put our own resources. You know,
But we have to be able to do it responsibly,
and,
man.
you know, I mean, just like, and I'll give a prime example for myself, you know what I'm saying? And I can only talk about me. I can talk about what I did, you know what I'm saying? Champagne Urbana Day. We just had Champagne Urbana Day. A lot of vendors out there, a lot of folks selling stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's the folks that gave stuff away that was out there. One of the things that I tried to do, I said, you know what, I got these 217 Birch Village, Dunbar Court, the Manor shirts, and I spent $1,800 on them shirts. And I didn't sell a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? But I had them sitting up. I'm like, you know what, I can get this away. And so I told people, man, here, take them, man. Just go and get them. Now you know how we do it. We see something for free, and so we're gonna make a list. Entrepreneurship. We got entrepreneurship mind.
Right around the corner, it's 2 for 5.
That's exactly what look, bro. No. Now you get you one for you, get you one for your lady. You get one for you, one for your lady.
Oh, it's free.
But I have to tell you,
You know,
that mentality is also trained.
Yeah.
You thinking you do a lot of things on your own, Sean, and it's not true, man. A lot of things we do, we have been trained to do that. We have been trained to act certain ways and all of that. And I'm hoping, man, that if I get an opportunity to start this podcast and I can share my life's experiences, I can share with you my ideas about how to come out of this wilderness that we went off into over these decades since they did desegregation. I believe that we were trying to find our way as groups when we went off into vice laws, Gangster Disciples, Black Peace Stone.
Yeah.
We had the right idea. We did not have the knowledge to carry those things out, you know. And this is something else you have to be very careful about when you have these people giving you money.
Yeah.
I remember after desegregation in the late 60s, early 70s, the federal government was passing out money like it was candy to Black neighborhoods in order for Black groups to come together and rebuild and rejuvenate their neighborhoods. And at the time that it was happening, I did not understand that that was a sham. They gave the money, it's true, but they gave it to Jeff Ford, who at that time was around 20-something, I think, uneducated. They knew what he was gonna do with the money. They gave money to the vice lords for the same thing, because they knew what they was gonna do with that money. They didn't know what to do with the money. So what did they do? Shit, they spent it on their damn self. They started intimidating youngsters that was trying to go to school, making them come to their program because it got them more money. See what I'm saying? So they were giving money to functioning illiterates, saying that we're trying to help your community. It was a lie. Because the people who were responsible had left that community years before. You didn't have the money to get to them then when they were there. It's a sham,
And it's
man.
one of the main things I talk about wisdom is being a knowledge seeker, right? Getting that information to bring back to your people so your people can be better, so we can do better. They always say if you know better, you can do better. And a lot of us just didn't know no better, right, at the time. But now with technology, 2022, speeding it up, and a lot of information's out there. You know, I took a real estate class twice. I took it twice because I'm on a short bus, right? So I took the class twice.
Okay.
You know, so I can get the information. I ain't trying to be a real estate agent, but hell, I need to know the information because we bad about passing misinformation on in each other. So I want to know the information. So I'm sitting in the class, I'm listening to the man talk. He said, hey, look, me and Brother Hub, we sitting there together. He said, man, you know what? Back when the housing crisis happened in 2008, they had a ninja program. When he said ninja, we only blacks in there. Oh, bro, that's the wrong way. Hair started chopping up. And we thought it was, you know, Negro programs. You know what I'm saying? And so he said that the program was no job, no assets, and no job, no assets, and no income. That was the acronym.
Exactly, that was the
program.
acronym for ninja.
So what happened is that the guys that were in the real estate game knew this. So people could go into the banks and borrow money with just going in there saying, hey, I make $200,000 a year. And they give you a home based upon what you said.
Exactly.
That's how the 2008 housing crisis happened. And it was a program that designed for minorities to get access to home ownership. Okay? Information that was out there started happening, I think, like 2000, 2000 all the way to 2008.
I know.
Okay? So that was that reparations. That was a portion of the type reparations that we could have capitalized on. Hell, we ain't know nothing about it. Ain't nobody telling us that this program existed.
Well, then it was not intended for you.
Yeah, it was for minorities. And so if you fit the category of minority status, you could got this funding through that program.
Was it on TV?
See,
No, brother. I'm asking you questions, please. Was it on nationwide TV?
Let me
Was it on any commercial?
Let me tell you something.
Was it made available?
Let me tell you something.
Come on, Sean.
Let me tell you something.
That was by design, brother.
The most precious stuff that you're gonna find out is gonna be in a book. You're gonna have to. You got to do some research. Right now, me and JB into a financial stock. It ain't on TV. Now the information just came out that we didn't get the research 2 years ago. It's on TV now. But it ain't on TV. You ain't gonna find it like that. You're not gonna, some of this stuff is not gonna be found like that. When we go into our intricate settings, that's why it's essential that we work together. Because you're gonna go to some places I'm not gonna go, you're gonna read some stuff that I'm not gonna read.
So let me ask you this. Why was that not maybe broadcasted on TV or commercialized or whatever? And the vaccine
for black folks.
And the vaccine was.
Because the vaccine gonna affect their dollars. We need you to be vaccinated so you come to get
You
vaccinated.
You seeing me,
Hey,
man.
Wrap it up, right?
You got, we need you to be vaccinated because we need you strength. We need you back at work, buddy. So we need you at Moderna.
They got that all on TV.
Because
All,
Moderna,
you know, they got stars doing
Man, look, what I tell you
Everybody-
before we get up out of here, man, be a knowledge seeker, man. Come to these programs. You see access to any information out there, go get it, man. Stop judging who delivering the information, where it's at. Just get the information, man, because it's essential for you and your family. And that's all I want to say. Appreciate your wisdom. Appreciate you, JB,
like
man.
Closing
Y'all go
comment
ahead.
if possible.
No doubt.
Go ahead, bro.
I would like just to
It's your
say
time.
that I'm grateful for being on the show. I'm also grateful that you're gonna help me start this podcast. The name of my podcast is going to be Words of Wisdom. I'm hoping that I can share my words of wisdom with you brothers out there, because Black man, you are targeted and you need somebody that's gonna help you to understand what you are going through and why you are going through it. Give me a chance. I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
And you know, I appreciate that, man, because one of the things up here, man, Black-owned business, man. Black-owned business. You know, I mean, we haven't had this power since WBCP. You know what I'm saying? And so now with me and JB putting our heads together, man, we at work one day. He worked with me in the funeral home business, and he said, "Hey, bro, man, I like to get a radio station going on, man. Let me help you do that." So that's how you put it together. You know, he in the broadcasting class over at Parkland, you know, and he was doing that. Me, him, and at Dwayne at the time, and we put it together, man.
Nothing better
And
than
so
a unified
when you
front.
walk up here to our office space up here. I mean, we got Black-owned businesses all across there. Tasha, Bernard, CC Cutting. You got Dwayne, his kids, 17-year-old kid with their own business.
That's good.
19-year-old kid with their own U-Haul business.
That's what's good.
You see
Man.
what I'm saying?
You
Got
know,
an insurance license, all of that.
now we sound the alarm and teach
Come on,
others
man.
how to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Come on,
what's
man.
going on.
So
Them the three marvelous.
so-
That my guy.
excuses out the window, man, because it's possible. They showing it's possible, man. It's capacity. We got 17-year-olds in our financial literacy class that's changing the dynamics of their generation for their families. You know, so JB, John, jump in here and chime in here, man, before we get up out of here.
We just want to thank everybody for giving us a minute
Hour eight.
And we won't be a stranger to you with information and just food for thought. That's what we want you to understand, that everybody has a chance or an option, as we like to see in the stock market class.
An option.
Good
Hey,
fun.
peace out.
All right, man. Love you guys, man. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. Gonna play a little bit of this here on our way out. Intro and an exit song. Love you guys, man.
All right.
Let's get it right.